From Forbes breaking news, tense. New York City Mayor Eric Adams directly confronted by man telling him he's suing his administration.
Is that Towaki Kamaso? Okay. So
all right. So, of course, the guy's got a mask, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention I actually tried to sue the Bill de Blasio administration for stomping all over my First Amendment rights before the world knew the name George Floyd. A little bit of a different story, but people, even the weirdo mask hacks, are saying enough.
Yours.
Okay. Mr. Adams, I was in this room in June of 2022.
Bro, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing, Cenk? What are we doing? What are we doing? Someone tell me, what the F are we doing?
You're wearing the mask under your nose because it doesn't make any sense. You've been totally brainwashed into wearing this submission necklace, but still have had enough of Eric Adams, presumably.
After testifying to you in that public hearing, we had a private conversation in a small conference room nearby. You made a remark to me then that you were going to look into my housing. There was no follow-up about that. 15 days ago, I got a punch to my head in a mica shelter. I don't belong in a shelter. We talked about a housing issue back then. There was no follow-up because of that lack of follow-up. That's how.
Wait, I'm confused. So this man is asking Eric Adams to provide him with housing. You know, we all know good and well that housing belongs to illegals.
My face looked 15 days ago after getting a punch. So the question is, when people come to your public meetings, you make statements to them. There's no follow-up. There are huge repercussions. I currently have a lawsuit against your administration.
Judgment, I'll sue.
One being assigned to the New York State Supreme Court in Manhattan, assigned.
But there are no adults in the room. Nobody's going to go to bat for you, even with your mask on. You can climb the ladder of appeals in New York. But no, we see, right, Judge Engoron and Tish James, there's nobody who's going to go against the regime.
To New York State Supreme Court Judge Lyle Frank. I also have a pending petition for writ of certiorari to submit to the U.S. Supreme Court by the end of next month. And so guess what I'm going to tell them? I'm going to tell them that while I have pending litigation against your administration, I'm being punched in the head, having to go to an emergency room. So basically, my point is First Amendment retaliation in response to protected First Amendment activity after.
That's literally what I sued the de Blasio regime and then police commissioner Dermot Shea, because they said it was a danger to public health to protest Rona. Again, only 3 weeks before the world knew the name George Floyd, and people were allowed to camp out in the very same park I was arrested at in Lower Manhattan. So do you think that Mayor Eric Adams now cares about the First Amendment, even though you're kind of on his team with this weirdo mask? I mean, this is just ridiculous. Nobody is coming to save you, bro. You got to leave, and you got to take the mask off.
After having a conversation with you in which essentially you lied straight to my face. Have a nice day.
Oh, Mayor Eric Adams lied straight to your face? I am shocked.
Thank you. And first, no one should be assaulted. I'm really sorry to hear what happened to you. And as you indicated, you don't belong in a homeless shelter. No one belongs in a homeless shelter. Every New York should have the right to housing. And
that's just not true. Housing is not a right. Oh yeah, every New Yorker, the new arrivals, right, and the asylum seekers, the newcomers. This is all ridiculous, pure political theater.
And the reason we could not continue with our conversation is because you had ongoing litigation. And our counsel stated that when someone has ongoing litigation, we should not interfere with that litigation at all. And so I'm going to repeat that since you didn't get it when you were recording the first time. I'm going to say it again. The reason we did not continue to communicate with you is because you had ongoing litigation. And the corp counsel that represent the city advised us that we should not have continuous conversation with someone that has ongoing litigation. But if you have litigation or not, no one should be assaulted in this city. That's something that I stand for. That's something that I believe. And I'm hoping that you reported it to the police department so they could have taken appropriate action.
They were going to do absolutely nothing. What were the cops going to do? The cops are henchmen for the communist regime in New York.
The person who's responsible for that should be held accountable. That goes for you, and that goes for the 64,000 other migrants, 64,000 other housing, and the over 180,000 migrant and asylum seekers.
Okay, so so he wants to sort of box in the asylum seekers with the regular homeless people, I guess. So as I'm understanding this guy with a mask wants to sue Eric Adams because they failed to provide him housing and he got punched in the face.
That have come through our you spoke already. Let me finish. That goes for those who are already in our system and those who are still coming in our system. Our obligation is to make sure they're safe and they're treated in a humane manner, and that's what we're proud that we're doing. I want to turn it over now to the Speaker of the City Council. Speaker.
Yeah, okay. Make sure they're safe. And here's one more, so everybody knows how seriously they're taking the safety of New Yorkers. We already have the National Guard in the subway, along with extra policing, but they're not going to help the New Yorkers because they're not illegal. It's all a complete mess at its very best, but they say NYPD to deploy 800 officers in uniform and plainclothes in Operation Fair Play, aiming to stop fare evaders. All right.
I'm announcing the expansion of the NYPD's presence within the subway system. Operation Fair Play, and that's FAIR spelled F-A-R-E, is a week-long operation starting today that might continue, and that will see the deployment of hundreds of officers to dozens of subway stations throughout the city. Operation Fair Play is a department-wide effort focused on fare evasion enforcement and will be supported by both transit officers and officers from outside bureaus, and by members in uniform and in plain clothes. Blatant fare evasion at the turnstiles remains one of the primary complaints from both law-abiding subway riders and the MTA. Our riders should not be subjected to open acts of lawlessness anywhere in our subway system. And that tone of law and order must start at the fare gates. Operation Fair Play is a reminder to those who would think about bringing disorder to our turnstiles and the rest of the subway system. Don't do it. Don't jump. Don't crawl. Don't come through the gate. Make the right decision. Enter the system properly and lawfully, because if you don't, chances are you will be stopped. You may walk away with a warning, or you may walk away with a summons, just like 28,000 other fare beaters did already this year. Or you may end up in handcuffs when circumstances dictate, like the 1,700 people did already this year. I'll end with this. Over the past several weeks, the riding public has seen a visible and palpable increase in uniform presence in our subways. With Operation Fair Play, they'll see even more.
Absolute insanity. Perfect example of the corruption race to the bottom. So you've got the weirdo masky guy who wants to sue Eric Adams for not providing him with housing and allowing him to get punched in the face. And then you've got the corrupt police saying that they're going to stop the problem that they helped to create. So once again, we have these people creating the problem and then trying to sell you the solution.